welcome to the channel. I am Say Hypel, and welcome to this narrative game of Warhammer 40,000 9th edition. Okay, so I am really excited about this, folks. So I put up a video yesterday called Hobby Time or Story Time or something like that at Mars 741. And what that is a small story. It's small sort of chunks of little bits of narrative about a kind of large apocalypse game that myself and the Claw played 5-6 years ago. I can tell you exactly when it was. It was on September the 17th, 2016. And it was Imperium versus Orcs. And we wrote little bits of story about it. And then we played the game, had lots of fun. The video I put up yesterday is that story. And it explains the background of what happened, the forces that are on this planet that I can totally remember the name of. And don't worry, I'll get to that in a minute. That I can totally remember the name of. And and sort of the aftermath of what happened. And it's a bit of a precursor to this, which is the first episode of a 4-episode miniseries. So if you are interested in, this is still just a game of 40k. So if you want to watch just a narrative game of 40k, this is absolutely fine. No need to go back and watch that video. But if you want the narrative background, and you'll see the links into some elements in this game, go and watch that first. It's 28 minutes, so roughly half an hour. So this first episode is going up on public YouTube, which you will know because if you're listening to this, you are watching it. And episodes 2, 3, and 4 will be exclusive for channel members. If you're interested in becoming a channel member, check out the links in the description below. Level 2 channel memberships enjoy an additional exclusive battle report every week. Right, so that's the capitalism out of the way. Right, what next? What next? Ah, yes. Okay, so for those of you who are new to the channel, a few things that I just want to go through before you invest your valuable time in watching this. My videos have a particular style. They are they're sort of in the style of come and join me whilst I have a game of 40k in my garage. They are not particularly well edited. It's all sort of raw, and there are terrible camera angles and me dropping dice and occasionally pointing the phone in the wrong direction. Sorry, the camera in the wrong direction. So yeah, low production values. You've possibly already been able to infer that I go off and ramble a great deal. Yeah, I totally do that. The games are also played against myself. It's solo hammer. I play both sides and I do my level best to be as objective as I possibly can and play each turn as I would see it. And I occasionally give myself a bit of leeway if I go, oh shoot, I forgot to do that last turn. Right, yeah, I totally would have done that. These guys totally would have done this. Yeah, that's cool. I'm about the telling the story, telling the narrative, not winning the game, which is much easier when you play games against yourself. It's much easier to forget about that. But then the other thing is, for a number of reasons, I have a small number of house rules, which I will just briefly go through with you guys now. There is a video somewhere on the channel that it'll be self-explanatory from the title about this that explains why, but they're all for narrative reasons. So, briefly, I don't apply any plus or minus 1 limits on dice roll modifiers. Characters can charge with units. So if I have a character that's in coherency with a unit and they're both going to charge the same target or targets, I roll once and they either both succeed or both fail. I don't use command put rerolls, and I don't limit the number of times that a stratagem can be used per phase. And if reinforcements are coming in, I don't pay reinforcement points for them. There's a few other ones that may be relevant today. No restriction on the multiple castings of the same psychic power. No scaling on smite. My most important rule is I apply what I like to call narrative common sense. When I'm playing the game, if something doesn't feel right, narratively speaking, I change it. And I do that without bias to one side or the other. So, if you are still watching, that probably sounds like your cup of tea, or at least you've not been totally put off yet. If those things don't sound like they're going to do it for you, thank you for your interest. This probably isn't for you. Right then, with no further ado, I need to look some stuff up and talk some more. Hang on. Right, so from this point onwards, from the story point of view, I'm going to assume you've seen/listened to the preamble vid. So I'll talk about things as though you know them because you've listened to that video. Okay, so since the Battle of Mars 741, a number of things have happened. One of which is that the mysterious Inquisitor, who is not from the Order Xenos, I don't know why I'm doing that because he's not from the Order Xenos, who's not from the Order Xenos, has requisitioned an amount of Imperial Guardsmen and Imperial Guard assets, and has taken to gone off in the distance to let's call them not the wastelands, but unoccupied, uninhabited areas of the planet, outlying areas, outlying sectors of the planet to pursue his own agenda. And whilst pursuing that agenda, the Chaos Knights of House Khomentis have made planetfall and have been engaging this Inquisitor and his unfortunate band of Astra Militarum ever since. Now, he managed to scare up quite a few forces because a lot of the reinforcements that had been on their way to the Forge had now arrived. However, he is a long way out. And whilst the reinforcements that arrived were mostly Astra Militarum, and he has taken them with him. So at the Forge are the Imperial Knights and the Skitarii Maniple. The Iron Hands, the surviving Iron Hands from the fight have left to meet up with their task force that is heading this way because they suspect more orc attacks are possible, even though they have quelled the war for the time being. So they've gone off to rendezvous and refit and rearm and exchange forces, and they are on their way back. So the bulk of the forces are here with the Inquisitor, or more to the point, were here with the Inquisitor. Over the days and some weeks following the engagement, House Khomentis have harried and harangued the Inquisitor's forces and the Astra Militarum, picking them off a few at a time. House Khomentis are natural hunters. They stalk their prey and eliminate them. And they have whittled down these Imperial forces to what remains in the battle today. It has been a war of attrition, and every time the Imperial forces believe they have taken down one of the House Khomentis Knights, it mysteriously appears hours later, seemingly undamaged. And so the Astra Militarum, the Imperial Guard, and the Inquisitor leading them have been forced into a last stand. And that is the scenario that we are playing today. Khomentis have had their fun. They've picked off enough. They're now closing on the remainder of the herd to slaughter what remains. So, let's talk about the scenario. So we are playing War of Attrition. This is effectively a kill point game. Every unit wiped out will add its power to the points total of the opponent, of the team killing it. So if the Guard kill one of the Imperial Knights, which is 23 power, one of the Chaos Knights, they will get 23 points. If the Chaos Knights kill, I don't know, the Preacher, who's worth 2 power, they'll get 2 points for it. So it's... the points will come in fits and starts for the Guard as they take down war engines, and the points will drip, 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 but there'll be no big wins for the Knights. The deployment. They are making their final stand in the centre corridor of the battlefield, which you can see all of their remaining munitions stacked up, unloaded from their cargo 8s that have since been destroyed. I'm not exactly following the dimensions on here because that would put the Knights in first turn charge. And to be honest, even with a 2-foot gap, Imperial Knights can charge in first turn. This would just be a pointless game. I say pointless. It would be heavily skewed in favour of the Knights, and that's not what I'm about. So there's a 12-inch corridor in the middle with a 2-foot gap either side and roughly 6 inches for the Knights to deploy at either end. And then we are using hatred. These guardsmen, rather than being broken and beaten, they've learned to hate. And the Chaos Knights hate the forces of the anathema with a passion. So as such, the entire army, both armies, are subject to hatred. So when you make an attack against the closest enemy unit, reroll wound rolls of 1. Right, what else? I feel like I've forgotten something important I was going to tell you. Never mind. So here we have the Imperial Guard, circa 1650 points, give or take. The first thing I have to apologise for is I didn't have my Primaris Psyker painted in time, so I borrowed this guy from Blackstone Fortress, and his base doesn't match, and it gives me heebie-jeebies every time I notice it. Sorry, but I thought it'd be cool to have a Primaris Psyker, so I'm using him. Right, so the majority of this is the Ultramar 728, 728th Ultramar Regiment, with elements from the Seven Sons Tank Division. So, what are we looking at? All sorts. Well, first off, the doctrines of the 728. Obviously, it's not one of the canon ones in the book. It's my own one, and we use 2 doctrines. One is fire from the hip. So if a unit advances, it can still rapid fire its rapid fire weapons at -1 to hit. So they can move super quickly. They are also disciplined soldiers. So rapid fire range has an extra 6 inches. So it's an 18-inch rapid fire range for double shots. So these guys can move and shoot. Highly mobile with their shooty goodness. So they are the regimental doctrines. The tanks, they will be their own tank regiment at some point when I have enough models. They don't get the same regimental doctrines, but even if they did, they haven't got weapons that it would apply to, so it doesn't matter. Well, actually, with the exception, the Chimera is the 728, so the rapid fire, does the last gunner rate count for that? I'll work that out if it comes to it. So, what are we looking at? Now I have a Baneblade. Ho, ho, ho. So it's Baneblade. Baneblade cannon, demolition cannon, bristling with heavy bolters, autocannons, las cannons. Yeah, it's called the Pride of Armatura. And I've spent a command point making the driver a tank ace, giving him haul-down deployment, meaning at the start of the game he receives the benefit of light cover. So he gets +1 to his armor save until he moves, then he loses it. Unlikely to move much. Well, it depends how close the night get, I suppose. Right, what else we got? Ooh, exciting. So, first off, the Inquisitor. This chap with the brimmed hat. He's got a Power Fist and a Condemner Bolt Gun. Condemner Bolt Gun does extra damage to Psychers. I'll come to that if it happens. Now, the Inquisitor is the Warlord. And he has the Warlord trait Psychic Mastery, which is the Ordo Malleus special, which gives him +1 to... he's a Psyker, so as a standard he can cast 1 and deny 1 per turn. However, Psychic Mastery means he can cast another one and deny another one and knows another one. So now he knows 2, can cast 2 and deny 2. But wait, we've also spent a command point on Alpha Class Psyker, which is an Inquisitorial Stratagem, which means he can cast another one, deny another one, and he knows another one. So this guy knows an additional 3 spells on top of Smite and can cast 3 a turn. Oh, mama. He has digital weapons. He has his Relic, which can potentially do mortal wounds in close combat. His 3 psychic powers are Warding Incantation. Casts on a friendly unit within 12 inches, gives them a 5+ invulnerable save. Mental Interrogation. Casts on an enemy within 12 inches, and it gives them -1 to hit as he rummages around in their head. And potentially he can acquire command points from the knowledge. And Castigation, which is a sort of Witchfire type attack, 18-inch range. You roll 3d6 to beat the target's leadership, and it takes mortal wounds if you do. I've written down 3. I assume that was D3. Can't be a flat 3, surely. I'll check that as and when I use it. Right, we then have the Primaris Psyker, who's temporarily walking on a small piece of the Blackstone Fortress in the middle of this planet, that I still totally know the name of, Vorax 9. What is it with the 9? Vorax 9, Archimedes 9? I appear to like appending 9 to the name to the end of planets. Did that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 5 years ago, 5 and a bit years ago. So he has 1 psychic power from the Telepathica discipline, and that is Psychic Maelstrom. It's an 18-inch range. On a 2+, it does a mortal wound. And then on a 3+, it does another one. A 4+, it does another one. 5+, etc., etc. And stops if they become negated. And the Weird Vein Psychers can have no 1 spell between them on top of Smite, and that's Psychic Barrier. That a friendly unit within 12 inches gets +1 to save. So, they're the Psychers. Character-wise, we've got the Colonel leading his troops with his command squad with a regimental standard Voxcaster, which means I can issue orders further afield as long as the receiving unit has got a Voxcaster. Then we have the Lieutenant, the platoon commander, with his command squad. He has a Power Fist. They've got some Melter Guns, Voxcaster, platoon standard. Tech Priest Engine Seer with 4 services, 2 of which have heavy bolters. Layman Russ Battle Tank, Battle Cannon, Las Cannon, 2 heavy bolters. Chimera Heavy Flamer, Heavy Bolter. We have 1, 2, 3 units of guardsmen as equipped. A couple of the sergeants have got special weapons. There's what have we got in here? There's grenade launcher in this one, flamer in this one, flamer in this one. 20 conscript. Is it 20 or 25? 20 conscripts with a minister and priest. And here we have the Penal Legion. They were known as the Dirty Dozen, but one of them got shot. We have 10 penal legionaries and their overseer. They are veterans, and they are equipped as, they're WYSIWYG. So, heavy flamer, plasma gun, melter gun. Yeah, that's it. The overseer counts as a commissar, so he's got the remote detonator for those Total Recall style explosive collars. And then 2 heavy weapons teams. One with missile launchers, one with las cannons. Oh, and hiding in the building, we have an armoured sentinel with a plasma cannon. And that is the Imperial Guard army, who I will now deploy and then talk about the knights. Yes, that's totally what I'll do. So here we are after the Guard's deployment. So, how have we... Well, it's a game of 2 halves, really, isn't it? As the saying goes. That big ruin is occupied, and this ruin is occupied. So we have the Pride of Armatura parked in the best hull-down position possible for its 1+ cover save, with the Tech Priest and Servitors, the Penal Legion and their Overseer, who totally should not be in front of them. Much better. The platoon command squad and the LT, and 1 unit of guardsmen, and the remaining Leman Russ. Then over on this side, the 2 buildings with the best vantage points, 1 each has a heavy weapons unit in them. The Scout Sentinel in that building there, and the Chimera with the Colonel and his command platoon in the Chimera. This side we have 2 units of guardsmen. Over here we have the conscripts with the priest, and in the middle we have the Psyker, the Primaris Psyker, the Weird Vein Psykers, the Ordo Malleus Psyker, and the Commissar. Very Psyker heavy over here. Maybe I should have put some over there. Never mind. And that is the deployment. All these lovely little notches and bricks are very thematic on this terrain, but makes it jolly difficult to put big bases on them. Ho-hum. Starting the game with 7 command points out of 12. Spent 3 on these super heavy orgs for the Leman Russ, another 1 for the tank ace, and then 1 on the Alpha class Psyker for the Inquisitor. And I think this represents the as regular viewers will know, I don't always apply the command point penalties, depending on whether I think it's narrative or not. I think in this case it is narrative. It's a hodgepodge of remainders of tank divisions, a few bits of remaining platoons, attached units like Weird Vein Psykers, and all being corralled together by an Inquisitor. And they've ended up in a very unstrategic situation. That was the other thing I remember what I was going to tell you before. They have obviously sent off for aid. The nearest, most likely aid is they have to await the arrival of the Iron Hands on planet, because their main force is due soon. Right, so that's the Guard deployed. Let's have a look at the Chaos Knight list. So here we have a lance of House Khomentis. Infernal House Khomentis. Oh, so much to tell you about. Where to start? Let's start with House Khomentis itself. So, way back in the day when they were... not when they were loyal, because they hadn't been discovered. During Old Night, the Night houses the Night House on House Khomentis, their young nobles, their coming-of-age ritual would be to go out into the deserts and hunt one of the wild desert animals. There were all sorts of different types, and depending on what type of creature the young noble successfully slew and brought back with him would determine the nature of the suit that he would end up being bonded to. The Imperium came, and House Khomentis were lovely and loyal, even though the Imperium strip mined their planet, made the atmosphere entirely toxic, and as a result, all the fauna died off, so they could no longer perform their hunting ritual. However, in M34, their home planet was engulfed by warp storms, and their lives changed dramatically, and they would now say significantly for the better. The hunting ritual came back, and now young nobles, rather than going out to hunt animals, they go out to hunt demons. And the nature of the demon that they kill determines the suit that they get fitted with. Fitted with? They go to the tailor, the night suit tailor. Oh, is it a little bit off the inside leg? Yes, no. I think we'll put you in a Borrant class suit today, sir. Oh, suit you, sir. Yeah, okay. So and there's a lovely symbiosis to it, because the throne mechanicum in each of these knights is demonically possessed, so there is a demonic spirit in each of the suits. It's not just a machine spirit, it's a demonic spirit. And that spirit gradually devours the soul of the inhabitant. And as it breathes its last, and then the remains of the corpse get wrenched out of the suit, it opens a small micro rift to the warp, and lots of chaos, not chaos spawn as in the models, but the spawn of chaos, the Neverborn, are released onto the world, which then begins the hunting cycle again. So it's got a lovely cycle of demonic life to it, which is kind of cool. So each of these knights will have fought a demon and brought it down. So my interpretation is that those in a war dog suit are ones who killed a lesser demon. So they managed to kill a bloodletter or a plague bearer or a horror, or a demoness or something like that. Those that get fitted in either a desecrator suit or an abhorrent class suit have killed something more impressive, more powerful, like a beast of Nurgle or a fiend of Slanesh. And those that are somehow able to bring down demon princes, greater demons, are the ones that end up in the tyrant class suits, of which there are none here. So the what to tell you about? So a little bit of rules, then back to a bit of narrative. So the infernal household rule for Chaos Knights. These are the demony ones. They have a rule that they can choose to use in the movement phase each turn. It's called Demonic Surge, and you roll a d3. It costs you a mortal wound, and the table is you get one of the following abilities. You either get Demonic Hunger, which is +2 to move, +1 to advance, and +1 to charge, to 1 inches. Sorry. Demonic Fortitude, which is +1 toughness, making these boys toughness 9. Or Demonic Power, which is you select one weapon and one shooting weapon, and it gets +1 strength and +1 damage. Is that +1 damage, or is that +1 to hit? Have I written that down wrong? I'll check that. I think that's right. Being of House Khomentis, their household rule is profane symbiosis with the demon. If they've got less than half wounds, so they've been damaged and so they've got less than half their starting wounds left, they get +1 attack and +1 to hit in melee. And they also get the ability to shrug wounds that are inflicted during the psychic phase on a 5+. Okay, so what are we I'm trying to read. There we go. If I put that there, you can't see it. Seamless. So the Knight Desecrator in the middle. Let's start with him. This is Lord Febrile's suit, known as Soul Fang. Lord Febrile took down a blood crusher when he earned his suit, and the spirit of the suit is very similar. It's not the same spirit that he captured, because that doesn't make sense. It's the spirit of the suit, but the nature of what he hunted matched him to this suit that was vacant at the time. So he has the warlord trait, eager for the kill. Oh, have I done that wrong? Hang on, 1 minute. No, never mind. Panic over. So Soulfang has a relic, the blasphemous engine, which means he counts as being on double wounds for the purposes of which of his injury profiles you use. The warlord trait of Lord Febrile is eager for the kill. You get +1 to advance and +1 to charge, and if you're in your opponent's deployment zone, you get +1 attack. So that is the Knight Desecrator Soulfang. Then over here to the right, the pilot of this suit is simply known as the Vixen. The suit is known as the Demon's Breath, and the demon that inhabits it is an exalted flamer. And I've spent a command point. Sorry, I should have mentioned Lord Febrile as a character. I've spent a command point on Corrupted Heirlooms, which gives Demon's Breath the character keyword, and she has the Zinchian Pyro Throne, which makes her a Psyker who can cast 1 and deny 1 each phase and has access to Smite. I'm tempted to say she should have access to the Zinchian deck, but I'm not saying that for now. Don't like to be too complicated. And then finally, on the left, we have Hate Spitter, is the name of the suit, piloted by Anathema. No one who's ever been bonded to the suit has spoken of the nature of the demon inside it, and the others can only speculate as to its origins. We spent a command point on Tyrannical Court, which gives... Must we pick a knight, give it the character keyword, and a warlord trait. So Hate Spitter has the warlord trait Dread Hunter, which is the Khomentis special one. Once per game, you can pick a weapon, and for that turn it has +1 damage and reroll to hit, reroll to wound. Unlike in the game I played yesterday, where I didn't realise that was once per game. And I say yesterday because I filmed it yesterday, even though it hasn't gone up yet. That goes up on... If you're watching this on the day it comes out, that's going up tomorrow in the members area. Exclusive for channel members. Yes, it's the next episode of the Soul of Nexus 2 campaign, so it's a Sisters versus Knights, which is what I was filming last night. It's ironic, really, because you'll see, if you're watching these in order in which I release them, you'll see me do a lot of things right today that I then get wrong tomorrow. How well. And that's Hate Spitter's warlord trait. Hate Spitter, Demon's Breath. Right, what else? Yes. Spent a command point on Demonic Ammunition, which is an Infernal House stratagem. It means all my heavy stubbers are Strength 5, which won't make much difference today because Strength 4 and Strength 5 won't have any difference on shooting guardsmen. It will do when I'm fighting the Marines, though. Which... Not to say that that's happening, but that's totally happening. And another command point on Encircling Hounds, which is a Khomentis special. It's part of the sort of hunter doctrine, if you like. You can select a unit of warhounds, and they deploy. They don't deploy on the board. They can deploy. They can basically outflank and come in on a table edge on any subsequent movement phase, as long as they're not within 9 inches of an enemy unit. So they are totally doing that. So that's 4 command points spent before we start. 3 command points spent before we start. 4 command points spent before we start. Corrupted Heirlooms, Tyrannical Court, Encircling Hounds, Demonic Ammunition. 4 command points spent. And I think that's all I need to tell you about House Khomentis. I will now spend a long time deploying these 5 models. No, deploying 3 of these models. Which is why I didn't worry too much about the order in which I was deploying the Guardsmen. Okay, let's do this! And House Khomentis have deployed Circling the Foe. Even though it's the War Dogs that are encircling the foe. But that's the scenario, I guess, with the deployment and the... Yeah. Not a lot to explain. We have Demon's Breath at this end, eyeing up that tank. Then we have Soulfang in that corner, and Hate Spitter in that corner. Now, I've just gone off and had my lunch, and I've just come back, and I was thinking, I'm going to give the Guard the first turn, because that makes sense. They were deployed first, they see it all coming. And so I just got into the process of thinking, right, okay, I'll work out all the orders, work out all the psychic powers, work out this, work out that. And there's not a lot can actually happen whilst the enemy are as far away as they are. So I'm not certain how much of an advantage first turn actually is. Okay, the Baneblade will get to have a go. And the Lehman Russ will get to have a go. And the heavy weapon squads will get to have a go. Yes, I am. I've just answered my own question there, haven't I? I'm worried about the Lasguns not being in range. So, yes, I have answered my own question there. Imperial Guard deployed first, so they are going to go first in this scenario. So, first things first then. Movement. That was quick. Psychic phase. Right, so, where'd I leave the book? Oops, come here, you. Right then. So, first off, I think the Weird Vein Psychers will attempt to cast Psychic Barrier on the last cannon team on a 6. They only get 1 dice, but they get +2 because of the number they've got in the unit. An 8. So, no one's in range. Well, I say no one. It's only Dragon's Breath who can deny, and Dragon's Breath is out. Demon's Breath. And Demon's Breath is out of range. So they now have +1. So actually, with their flak armour, with the ruin, with the +1, they now have a 3+ save. So that should help against things like Stubborfire. So now the Inquisitor will attempt to cast Warding Incantation on the Missile Launcher team on a 6. That's a fail. That would have given him a 5+ vulnerable save. But it didn't. So that's it for the shooting. That's it for the psychic phase. Almost all the other guns are out of range, apart from these bits and bobs. I can't issue any. The only orders I could issue would be to the heavy weapons teams. But because of where I've deployed them, and because they don't have Vox casters in the unit, I'm too far away to issue orders to them. So, no orders there. This is how I ended up down the rabbit hole of who should go first. Right, so let us start as we mean to go on. And the Baneblade will open up on the Vixen, piloting Demon's Breath. Slight correction to the movement phase. The Armour Sentinel has moved out so we can get line of sight on to Hate Spitter. So, the Baneblade. Oh yeah, The Vixen has rotated her iron shields. Quick, sharp. Okay, first things first. The Baneblade Cannon. Here's the big one. Heavy 3d6. 4, that's alright. 12, take that. Better than average. 6, 9, 12. The average, of course, being 10.5 on 3d6. Hitting on 4s. That looks pretty good. That looks very good. Strength is 10. Wounding on 3s. Couple of fails. -3. So it's the ion shield save of 4+, invulnerable. So they've all failed. They've all failed. So that is 3 damage each. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21 wounds. All right, so that was a shot and a half. Okay. The demolition cannon is out of range. Thank the Emperor. I mean, something like that. 2 last cannons, both missed. And then 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh, need 2 more dice. 2 more blue dice. Shots with the heavy bolters. Hit on 4s. Wounded on 5s. -1. So these are saving on 4s. 2, 4, 6 wounds. How many did I say she'd lost? Was it 18 or was it 21? I'm gonna have to. I'm pretty sure it's dead. 1 minute. Okay. So does the reactor blow? The reactor doesn't blow. Engine kill. First shot of the game. I can't stop laughing. I've been painting these for months. Right then. What's next? Ooh, more knights. The Baneblade commander turns to the Layman Rust commander and says, "It's okay, little brother. There are more." Right, so we're spending 2 command points on Hail of Fire. So rather than rolling d6 for the heavy cannon on the Layman Rust, we get 6. And because of grinding advance and hasn't moved, it fires twice. So, rotate iron shields. He's seen the Vixen's Knight go up in smoke on the other side of the battlefield and instantly presses the button for the iron shield rotation. It's like, whoa, shoot! Right, so 12 shots hitting on 4s. Strength 8, toughness 8, wounding on 4s. 2. -2, 5 up save, but iron shields are rotated, so 4+. 1 gets through, 1 is saved, and it does d3 damage for 3. Then a last cannon, which misses, and 2 heavy bolters. Wounding on 5s. 1 wound, saving on a 4. Yes. Okay, you fared significantly better. Right, who's got... Can the last cannons? Yeah, the last cannons can. Right, 3 last cannons, heavy weapons team shooting over there as well. 2 hits, wounding on 3s, strength 9. Saving on a 4+, invulnerable save. Saved. Okay, so moving over here for crack missiles into Hate Spitter. Or missed. Right, what else we got? Okay, so now we've got the heavy bolter and off the Chimera and the heavy plasma cannon, the plasma cannon off the Sentinel into that knight. The plasma cannon, the Sentinel's going to overcharge it. It's got nothing else to lose. Oh, I forgot the reroll wants to wound. I'll try and remember it now. D3 shots for 2. It will explode on him and kill him if he rolls a 1. He doesn't roll a 1. That's 1 hit. Strength 8, toughness 8, wounding on a 4. -3, so 5+ iron shield save, which he makes. Then the heavy bolter, 2 hits, 5 to wound, no. And that is it for the shooting phase. Now, there is a stratagem that infernal households can use. It's a 3 command point stratagem to roll a dice to see if your knight gets back up again and regenerates after being destroyed. I'm not going to use it. I am going to spend the command points on other things. So that's a good first turn for the guard. 1 shot, 1 kill. And interestingly, the knights have now got bodies in between them and the Baneblade. How fortuitous. Right, let's go on to Knight's turn 1. So at the end of the movement phase, it looks like this. The War Dogs have come on here. More than 9 inches away from the enemy, and within 6 inches of any edge of the board. I wonder what their target is. Now, Soulfang has... he's moved quite a bit. So, at the start of the movement phase, both Soulfang and Hate Spitter used Demonic Surge. Rolling, so 1 mortal wound each, and rolling. Soulfang got Demonic Hunger for +2 inches of move, +1 inch advance, +1 inch to charge range. And Hate Spitter got Demonic Power. So selected his battle cannon, which is now +1 strength and +1 damage. So it's super shooty battle cannon. The War Dogs weren't on the table at the start of the turn, so couldn't use the ability. Soulfang has advanced. And with his... is it Warlord trait? With his Warlord trait, eager for the kill, gets +1 to advance anyway. So, he's got +2 to charge. I'm not sure he can actually fail. Maybe on a Snake Eyes. Maybe. It sucks to be you. So that happened. So no shooting here. But there is obviously going to be shooting over here. No psychic phase now, because my psychic got one-shotted in turn 1, which was nice. So I should have the book around here somewhere. Okay, so 1 War Dog at a time, because they're now separate units now they've been deployed. This one first. Heavy Stubber into these, and Thermal Lance into the Pride of Armatura. D3 shots with the Thermal Lance for 2. Hitting on 3s. 1 hit, 1 miss. Strength 8, toughness 8, wounding on a 4. Wounds. Now it's -4, the Thermal Spear. However, because the Baneblade is parked hull down, it still gets a 6-up save because of the tank case. No. So it is within half range of the Thermal Spear. That's got a 30-inch range, that thing. So it's pick 2 dice and apply the highest. So that's 6 wounds out of its 28. So it has 22 remaining. And I'm going to put some wound markers down before I forget the number. And 3 heavy stubber shots into the Penal Legion. 2 hits, 2 wounds, saving on 5s. 1 saved, 1 died. Right, next thermal lance into the Pride of Armatura for D3 shots. For 3. Hitting on 3s. 1 hit. Wounding on a 4. Fails to wound. Okay, now, with the boost to his weapon, Hate Spitter would love to fight the Beyblade. And I guess, strictly speaking, if you use the rules as written, he can see over that massive building that's a good head higher than him. But no, he can't, because apply narrative common sense. So, there's no shooting here because of advancing, so it's over to Hate Spitter. Sounds like a news reporter. Over to Hate Spitter at the studio! Okay, so Hate Spitter wants to take out these 2 gun nests, because that represents most of the heavy guns over here. So he's going to fire his heavy stubber at these them. So as he's run down, the stubber's raked them as he's turned the corner, and boom, boom, he's going to level that ruin and kill those weapons teams along with it with his rapid fire battle cannon, which fires 2d6 shots for 6. Hitting on 3s. There. Wounding on strength 9. Wounding on 2s. There. How are they alive? -2. Their save is now up to 3. Just watch this. Their save now up to 3+ because of the psychic support they're getting. Well, D3 plus 1 damage, so at least one of them's dead. And then 3 heavy stubbers at this unit. 2 hits. Wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. Saving on 4s because they're in cover. No, one of these is dead as well. Not even enough to make a break test. Well, that's shooting done. So, I've just measured up here, and it's a 10-inch charge to get into range, which it shouldn't be because of the distances between the zones, but obviously I've made a mistake when I've deployed them and moved them a bit further out of their zone than I should have done. But that's not the kind of thing I go back and retrospectively go, oh no, they should have been over here because they wouldn't have all fit on the building and it was more appropriate for them to be on the building. Long story short, they're getting charged 10 inches. Now. Right. More charging. Right. Solfang is charging the Layman Russ, who's spending a command point on defensive gunners, so he will overwatch and hit on 5s. So, battle cannon, 6 shots. Hitting on 5s. 3 hits. Wounding on 4s. 2 wounds. Invulnerable saves of... How long does Iron Shields last? Let me check. Just till the end of that phase. The 4 is a fail and does 1 point of damage. Click. Last cannon. Hits. Wounds on a 3. No. Heavy bolters. 1 hit. Wounds on a that. Save on a 4. No. 2 damage. Oops. Oops. And then charges. It gets a +2 to this because of all the stuff. Yeah, he's in. Right. 1 ward dog can make a 12-inch charge on the Baneblade. No chance. The other one, 9-inch charge on these guardsmen. Do they have anything funky? I don't think they do. I will just check, though. No, nothing funky there. So, right, we come to the fight phase. So, I've measured up, and he's now in the enemy's deployment zone. So, because of his warlord trait, he gets an extra attack. So, he now has 5 attacks, hitting on 3s. It's just not their day. Alright, 1 hit. Can't kill it now. Strength 14, toughness 8, wounding on a 3. Wounds minus... Was it 3 or 4? Was it -3 or -4? -3, so it saves on a 6. No, 6 damage. So he's got 6 left. So at the end of battle round 1, adding up the power, the Imperial Guard have made an engine kill, earning them 23 points. The Knights have killed nothing. Nothing. And are sitting pretty on a big fat 0. Right, Imperial Guard, turn 2, coming up. Okay, so the Guard have moved. And again, it's like 2 mini battles. This is a mini battle. And this is a mini battle. So what's happened here? Well, there's a lot of psychic battery here, but it's not quite close enough where it was. So the Colonel has disembarked from his Chimera and ordered the conscripts further forward to give the psychers room to work. So yeah, we've got the Inquisitor and the Weird Veins and the Primaris Psyker all lining up the mind bullets against the against Hate Spitter. Now, if I were being gamey, I'd know there are no more knights to come on, and I'd move all these other models up as well. But the Colonel, these guys have been harassed by knights for days and weeks. They don't know how many there are. They're also used to the same knights they think they've taken down coming back. So I am not going to move all this stuff out of here just yet, because they don't know that in character. And I think it'd be gamey to instantly do that. So there's going to be a lot of fire coming down here. Over here, the Dirty Dozen have... -2, because one's got a shot. Have moved forward, have been ordered forward by the Overseer to lay fire into this knight, and there is a stratagem I'm going to use for that. The Lehman Russ has fallen back under the instructions of the LT, who brought his command squad round with his melter guns and this platoon squad to start laying laser fire into this thing. It's a little bit injured, so it could do some damage. The Tech Priest Engine Seer has run over to the Baneblade and has put 2 wounds back on it. That's what their red dice is there to remind me to tell you. And that's it for movement. Now, can I remember when I'm supposed to tell you about orders? Start the shooting phase. Right, so it's psychic phase first. To the psychic side of the table. Dun, 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 dun. Right then. So, first things first then. What's it called? Hang on. Right, the strategy is called Psychic Conclave. It's 1 command point, and a unit of Weird Veins and a Primaris Psyker who are within 6 inches of each other can act in concert, the idea being they're more powerful together than they are individually. And I mean, I have mixed feelings about this. On the one hand, I think it's great, because both units get +2 to their psychic tests, which I think is brilliant. And, until the end of the phase, each unit can attempt to manifest an additional psychic power, which I think is brilliant. The only thing that irks me is it's about 5 or 6 times better than the Seer Council ability that the Eldar get with the Warlocks and Farseer. For the same command point cost. So, I'm just going to have to swallow that down for a minute. Right. So, first off, which we're on to do it. Right, we'll start with the... What's his name? The Inquisitor. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is mental interrogation on a 6+. Oh, hang on, that's got a 12-inch range. That's out of range, can't do that. In which case, we will go for castigation, which casts on a 6, which fails. We'll also go for warding incantation on the conscripts, which gives them a 5+ invulnerable save on a 6, which passes. So the conscripts have a 5+ invulnerable save. Must not forget that, the same way I've been forgetting the hatred rule. And finally, he will smite, failing on a 3. Okay, so now we'll go to the Primaris Psyker, who will cast Psychic Maelstrom on a 7. 9 + 2 is 11. That's cast. That does a mortal wound on a 2+. No, okay. Then he will smite on a 5. Yes, for D3 mortal wounds, which will be shrugged on 5+ because they are House Khomentis. Shrugs them both. Thinks the knight. Right, the Weird Veins are going to attempt to cast Psychic Barrier on who needs the most protecting from being shot. We'll put it on the last cannons again. That's cast on a 6. 4 + 2 for the size of the unit, +2 for the Psychic Conclave is an 8. That is cast. They have an additional point of armor save. And then they will smite. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Almost a super smite. D3 mortal wounds for 1, which he will shrug on a 5. No, he takes a wound. You know, considering there were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 psychic powers there, 1 mortal wound, I think you got off lightly, mate. Right, it's now the shooting phase. So the Colonel is going to forget what they're all called. No, he's going to issue 2 orders, and he's going to issue them both to the conscript. He's going to issue first rank fire, second rank fire, so they all now have rapid fire 2 guns. And he's going to issue take aim, which means they re-roll hit rolls of 1. So there's going to be, and because of the doctrine, they all rapid fire within 18 inches. So there's going to be 8 rapid fire 2, 80 las gunshots, hitting on 5s, re-rolling 1s. 80! Ah! What's how many las guns it will take to kill a knight? Then over here, the LT is issuing Bring It Down on his command squad with the melter guns to try and bring down Soulfang. Okay, so we're on to the shooting phase. Right, I'm going to put the camera down and roll 80 shots. Found a way to pick the camera up. Right, 80 dice, hitting on 5s. Re-rolling 1s. Get comfy. Bit of lift music. Stop dropping them. Oh no, I'm now dropping the 1s back into the other dice. This isn't good. I don't know what possessed me to try and do this on camera. There's another one. And another one. Right, I think that's all of them. Right, now I just want the hits. 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometime later, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30. Exactly 30 hits. Right. Strength 3. I need the bucket. Strength 3. Toughness 8. Wounding on 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. What's that? 8 wounds. 8 wounds by the conscripts. Ah. Saving on 3s. Oh, 1. 2, 3, 4, 5 fails. And I forgot the rerolls to wound of 1. Right, hang on. These are 1s. Oh, it's happening live. Any more 6s? No, good. 5 failed wounds. The conscripts have done 5 wounds to that knight. Booyah! Or something like that. You can just imagine the contempt as he strolls up. Then the moment of absolute panic as the sky just goes the colour of laser. And he takes 5 wounds. I wonder what statistically it should have been. I'll work that out later. Okay, Sentinel, plasma cannon, overcharging for 2 shots. Both hit, wounding on 4s. No wounds. 2 crack missiles. 1 hit, wounding on a 4. 1 wound, saving on a 5. No, D6 damage for 6. 2 maybe I should have rotated these iron shields. 2 last cannons. 1 miss, 1 hit. Wounds, save for 5. No, D6 damage. 6. Should definitely have rotated these iron shields. 2 crack grenade launchers from veterans. They both hit. Wounding on 5s. -1, saving on a 4. No, D3 damage for 1. 4 wounds remaining. Heavy bolter from the Chimera. No. Goodness me. 4 wounds left. All right. Okay. No, I don't need more dice than that. Okay. Over here now. Right then. All right, these conscripts. Oh, they've got a thingy to use. Hang on. They're not conscripts, they're penal legion warriors, veteran things. Okay, it's called Experienced Eye. So all the models in this unit, the armor penetration of their weapons is 1 better till the end of the turn. So, the melter gun hits, wounds on a 3, iron shield save for 5+. No, D6 plus 2 damage for 4. Oh, I need wound counters. Oh, we're on to the smaller dice, the smaller caliber wound counters. They start on 12, so they've got 8 wounds left. So this one's got 8 wounds left. Okay. Plasma gun, 2 shots, 2 hits. Iron shield saves for 5+, 1 pass, 1 fail, 1 more wound. And then heavy flamer, 1 hit. Wounds, -2, so 5+ save. No. Another wound there. And then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 last gunshots. 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 last gunshots. And you're still forgetting to re-roll the wound rolls of 1, Paul. Trying to remember. Sorry, Paul. Wounding on 6s. Re-rolling 1s. 2 1s. No 6s. Okay, so they've fired. Now we come to the command squad over here. The 2 melter guns are hitting on 3s. Hang on. I gave them reroll 1s. They're already rerolling 1s. I'll give them reroll 1s to hit instead, because otherwise that's silly. Whilst reroll those, that's good. Both hit. Wounding on 3s. Reroll that 1 because hatred. That wounds. Saving on a 5+. No. D6 plus 2 damage for 6. And then a bunch of last gunshots. No, they're rerolling the ones to hit. 2 wounds, 2 saves of 3+. takes a wound. Lasgun, deadliest weapon in the 40k universe because there's so many of them. Flamer from the unit behind, 2 hits, no wounds. And then a ton of las fire. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 17. Right, I'll get back to you with the saves. 3 saves to 3+. Passed. Okay, so now almost everything is fired. Contemplation. Okay, so you might have a hint of what the Baneblade's doing. So the turret weapons, so the Baneblade cannon and the autocannon are going to fire at the knight. At this desecrator, who is Soulfang. The Demolisher cannon is going to fire at the uninjured war dog, and all the other guns, the heavy bolters, the last cannons, are going to fire at the injured war dog. So let's fire the Baneblade cannon at Soulfang first for 7 shots. Hitting on 4s. Strength is 10, so it's wounding on 3s. Reroll the 1, because it hates him. 1 wound. Alright, a little bit of symmetry on this then. Ion Shield save of 5+. No, 3 damage. Down to 1 wound remaining. Down to 7 wounds remaining. Right, the Demolisher cannon at the... I said the uninjured one. For how many shots? For 5. Hitting on... I assume it's 4s. I never actually checked. Yes, it is 4s. Good. Hitting on 4s. That's 4 hits. Strength 10, toughness 7, wounding on 3s. He's not the closest, so that doesn't apply. Ion Shield save of 5+. 1 gets through and does D6 damage. 6? How many 6s for damage have I rolled? Good grief. Oh. I can upgrade this guy to a proper dice. Right, that's the cannon done. I forgot the auto cannon. 2 hits, no wounds. Right, so now the 2 last cannons at the initially injured war dog, both hit, both wound. Iron Shield saves of 5+, both fail. So that's 2d6 damage for 10 damage. Does he explode? He does not, but he goes down. So now I guess those 2 servitors will put their heavy bolter fire into this war dog. It's on 4s, running on 5s, -1 saving on 4s. No, 4 more wounds. He's got 2 wounds remaining. Ah! So I was just about to sum up guard turn 2 and say how it was looking pretty bleak for the Chaos Knights, and then I remembered something. The big knights are all characters. So, in the charge phase, at the end, he can heroically intervene 3 inches and engage all 3 of those units. Nah. And I think I'm right in saying that as there are no charging units, it's one of the opponent's units that goes first, which is that knight. Now, because he's below half strength, he now has an extra attack. He's in the enemy's deployment zone, so he has an extra attack. And also because he's below half strength, because of his Khomentis trait, he also gets +1 to hit. So I think he's going to be hitting back on 3s with 3 attacks per attack. So he's going to have 18 attacks to split amongst these guys. So, yeah, so that's going to happen. Okay, so that's 18 attacks, and I'm going to spend 2 command points on Bind the Souls of the Defeated. So for every model I kill, I roll a dice, and on a 4+, I regain a wound to a maximum of 6. So, right, I'm going to have 4 attacks on the platoon LT, because he's got Refractor Field. I did contemplate spending 2 command points on Trail of Destruction as well, to get to reroll to hit, because I'm only hitting on 3s. But I decided that was a gratuitous use of all my remaining command points. So 4 on the LT, 6 on his command squad with the 2 melter guns in, because there's 4 of them, and hopefully that should kill them. And then the remainder on the unit. What do I want to do more to kill those? We'll see. Right, 4 on the LT, hitting on 3s. 4 hits. Winning on 2s, rerolling 1s, because I hate him. Okay, Refractor Field saves of 5 up. Makes 2. D3 damage each. For 4 damage in total, he has 3 wounds. He is dead. Right, his command squad, hitting on 3s. 4 hits. Wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s. I roll that 1. 4 dead. Because they only have flak armour. And being trodden on is hazardous to health. And then however many dice this is, hitting on 3s. 4 misses. Wounding on 2s with a reroll. So that's 4 of those dead as well. So how many's that killed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Recovering wounds on 4+. 1, 2, 3, 4 wounds back. There we go. That's a bit healthier. Do I want to do a chain sweep? No, I don't think I do. Well, these guys will pile in and do their attacks. The Sarge has got 2. No. The remaining 5 guys have got 1 each. 6s, rolling 1s because they hate me. No. Nothing doing there. Okay, so it's the morale phase. This unit lost 4. That's 10. That's a fail. One of them's going to run. They're now at half strength, not below it, so only 1s. So another 1 runs. And by runs, I reckon he tries to run and then just gets trodden on. I wonder, is it this turn or is it the phase? Phase. So morale phase doesn't count. Okay, that's a bit healthier from a knight perspective. A little bit more problematic from an Imperial one. The Guard get another 9 points for killing a war dog. And the Knights get off the mark by killing the LT and the command squad. I'll get those points on the board in a sec. So at the end of the Knights' turn 2 movement phase. Is it only turn 2? It looks like this. Most of the Knights are hobbling with damaged frames. Only Soulfang, who is recently gorged on the souls of the living, is looking anything like... I mean, he's more than half down, but he looks shiny and new compared to the other 2. So he has stepped over those guardsmen and is going for the Baneblade. The War Dog running as fast as his little broken legs can towards the Baneblade. And Hate Spitter, intent on crushing everything beneath his feet that he possibly can over here. So I've been umming and ahhing what stratagems to use because I desperately need to kill the Baneblade. And if possible, the Lehman Russ. And with the stratagem they've got for overwatching on 5s, and the number of wounds I've got left, charging it is going to be a problem. So I'm continuing to and continuing to However, I think I know what Soulfang is going to do. I just get the book in front of me because I've never fired that gun before. And I've just remembered the Soulfang counts as having double wounds, so he should have been hitting on 2s last turn. Oh well. Right, first off, Soulfang is going to fire his laser destructor at the Baneblade and his heavy stubber at the guardsman at his feet. So the heavy stubber, let's do the light bit first. His current profile is 11, but it's doubled to the 3 as a hit. Wounding on a 3, saving on a 5. No, kill the guardsman. D3 shots with the laser destructor for 1. Hitting on a 3. Hits. Strength of the laser destructor is 14. Wounding on a 3. That's a 2. Of course, it's a 2. Okay, in which case we will come on to this war dog, who will fire his thermal spear at... Oh, or should I kill the Layman Russ? Well, he's definitely firing his heavy stubber at these guys. Should I try and kill the Layman Russ? No, the Baneblade is the priority target. Shoot the Baneblade. Shoot the glass. She's doing Finster. Thingy. Stubbs. 2 wounds. What's he hitting on? 5s. 1 hit. Wounds. Save. Alright, D3 shots with the thermal cannon. Right, yeah, thermal lance 3. Of course, he's blind as a bat, so hitting on 5s. 2 hits. Okay. Strength 8, toughness 8. Wounding on 4s. 1 wound. Save for 6 up because he's still ensconced. No. It's roll 2, pick the highest for damage. For 2 damage. He takes 2 wound off the Baneblade. Right, let's go see what Hate Spitter can do over there. Right, Hate Spitter's plan hasn't changed. It's battle cannon into the last cannons and heavy stubber into the missile launchers. So he's going to remember he's got a second heavy stubber and fire that. He is, however, screwed for shooting. So into the missile launchers. He's hitting on... is it 5s? Yeah, definitely 5s. 1 hit. Wounds. Doesn't save. 1 guy takes a wound. And a wound counter! Ugh. Yeah, that's problematic. Okay, 2d6 shots with the battle cannon. For 3 shots? Has he got 5s? Nothing! Oh! It's not your day either. Now. Alright, so we're done with that. It must be the charge phase. Do I want to spend a... Well, so this guy is absolutely... Sorry, I didn't mention none of them went for Demonic Surge this turn because everyone was a bit low on wounds. Do I want to Overwatch? Yes, with all those people there shouting, shoot them now! They will Overwatch. But it's only going to be 40 shots this time. Only 40. Does he make it in? He does. So that's a command point, Overwatch. So that's 40 shots. Where's the bucket? Bucket time. 6 is required. That it? That's it. Right, that was a 6 as well. Wounding on 6s, rolling 1s. 3 wounds. 3 saves to 3 plus. No, none of them. He's down to 1 wound. That was close. That was close. Oh, no, Paul. Don't film yourself putting dice away. All right, got it. I've just realised how badly I've screwed something up. So, I had 2 command points left. So I thought, I definitely need to Overwatch with the Baneblade. And I thought, yeah, okay. it's a command point to Overwatch and a 5+ with the Beyblade. So I've got a command point to shoot with the conscripts. And I might do even more wounds with lasguns. That'd be really funny. God, imagine if I killed it with lasguns. But of course, it's a command point to Overwatch, then a command point for defensive tank gunners. So I can only Overwatch on 6s. Normal Overwatch. Whoops. Right, I'm now debating who's charging in first. This guy, he's lined up. That guy's got to sort of pick his way through a building to do it. All right, does he make it in? Yes, he makes it in. Now, does he survive getting shot at with all of these massive, massive guns? Now that I very much doubt. All right, siege cannon. 4 shots. 2 hits with that. This might be quick. Winning on 3s. Saving on a 5. Yeah, oh yes, the Iron Shield did something. Woohoo! He obviously had it pointed in the right direction. The Baneblade cannon has 8 shots. Hitting on 6s. 1. Wounding on a 3. Nearest enemy, reroll the 1. No. No. 2 las cannons. No. Auto cannons. No. 1. The sponsored heavy bolters. 3. 2 wounds, saving on 4s. 1 gets through. 2 wounds. Does he explode? No. But that war dog is a casualty. Now, the Desecrator charges and makes it in. I'm not going to mess about with the terrain. He's in striking range. I could put him side on and it would look rubbish. He's definitely in striking range there. Yep. So he has 6 attacks. Because he's below half, because he's on 11 wounds out of 24. He's in his opponent's deployment zone. And he gets +1 to hit because of it. So he is hitting on 2s. Rolls 2 1s. Wounding on at least 3s. Reroll the 1 because I hate it. I just need to check the stats of that sword. Okay, it's -3, not the -4 that I suspected it might be. Saving on 6s. He needs to make 1 of these, or that's 24 damage, and it is out. Let's build up the tension. Fail. Pass. Fail. Fail. So he takes 18 wounds. With 2 wounds remaining. 2 wounds remaining. I'm now going to go and examine some stratagems and see if I can just, kick it or something. Tragically not. If it was infantry, I could have tried to thunderstomp him. 2 wounds left. 2 wounds. That's going to cost me. The problem you have now is it's units to actually do the damage, right? Because even if I survive, I can either shoot him or the Lehman Russ. I can't shoot them both. I can either charge him or charge the Lehman Russ. I can't do both. But on this side of the table, there have been 4 suits. And the Baneblade, the Vets, and the Lehman Russ have seen off 3 of them. These guys are holding their own against this 1. But, oh dear me. Dear me. Okay, so Hate Spitter. It's your go, mate. You've got 5 attacks now because you're so crippled. Because, Khomentis. And you're going to hit on +1. So what is your base hittage now? 5+. So you're going to hit on 4s with your feet. So 15 attacks, hitting on 4s against the conscripts. Shall we spend 2 command points to try and get some health back? It's on 1 wound. I mean, I'm not going to kill that many. They've got a 5+ invulnerable save. I might get 2 or 3 wounds back. But I guess at this point I've got to try and keep that suit alive. But Weight of Fire and the Psychic, it's just going to annihilate me. I don't even know if it's worth it. Would I rather have the points over there? No, I'm not going to do it. I've got other plans for those command points. Right, 15 attacks, hitting on 4s. Wounding on 2s, rerolling 1s, because I hate you. And then saving on 5s because of the defensey thingy that the thingy did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 saved. So 5 die. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you see, I'd only have got back, 4 wounds? Well, 4 wounds might have helped. No, but you know what? They took down 5 wounds just in the shooting phase, and then 3 in the... no. And now we have... I'd love to do chain sweep. How many would I get with chain sweep? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I'd maybe kill the 3 or 4. No, not going to do it. Not going to do it. The resources are too valuable at this point. But unfortunately, however, the conscripts are now going to pile in and attack back. And they've all got an extra attack because of the priest. There he is. 30 attacks of the conscripts. Hitting on 5s. No rerolls for anything. So I'm just going to pick up the hits here. No, I'm going to run out of hands trying to pick up the hits. That's a lot of hits. These guys are keen. Wounding on 6s, but rerolling 1s because of hatred. Oh no! 4. And then some 1s to reroll. Oh no! Not this turn. Not conscripts. Please, not conscripts. There he goes. Now, I'm sure I've got a card that does something very spiteful. Right, Spiteful Demise. 2 command points. I blow up on a 4+ rather than just a 6. For spite. Boom! Everything within 2d6 inches takes d6 mortal wounds. 7 inches. I'll take that. Tape measure time. So this is going to be painful. Right. I'm going to roll the dice, put it next to him, and then go and work out what's what because of the number of wounds people have and stuff. But 7 comes round to here and clips the commissar, clips the colonel, and clips his command squad, and clips these guys. So let's do these. 2 mortal wounds. Conscripts, 6 mortal wounds. The priest, 4 mortal wounds. The sentinel, 2 mortal wounds. The inquisitor, 6 mortal wounds. The psyker, 2 mortal wounds. The weird veins, 3. The commissar, 6. The colonel, 3. The command squad, 1. So as they fire up into its torso, rather than a detonating thermal core, there's lots of wisping, howling, jowling soul spirits of the ether pour out and tear through the bodies of those nearby, each pulling away a shred of its soul, as the form of the knight crumples to the ground, temporarily lifeless. And now it looks like this. The colonel surviving on 1 wound, the Primaris Psyker surviving on 2, but the priest, the Inquisitor, and the Commissar all falling. Now, I just checked the morale of the conscript because I thought I might as well do the morale at the same time. And I have done the morale, and they rolled high and lost a bunch more. But of course, I have just discovered that I should have been rolling to see if they were able to accept the orders earlier rather than then just getting them automatically. So, I'm sure a bunch of you have been screaming that at the screen. Whoops. Obviously, these conscripts were quite a long way on in their training, only just shy of becoming guardsmen. And in fact, if they hadn't been out on field operations, they would probably have been given their commissions already. So, in fact, the surviving ones may even take a jump. Well, they won't jump straight up to veterans, but it won't be long, because they have obviously got a very keen eye and are very well disciplined at taking orders. So, at the end of Battle Round 2, yes, it's Battle Round 2, the Imperial Guard have got 63 points for killing 4 knights, and the knights have got 12 points for killing a couple of plebs. And an Inquisitor. So, now it's Guard turn 3. So, the Imperial Guard have moved, and the Pride of Armatura has backed away as fast as it possibly can from that hulking monstrosity. The Tech Priest Engine Seer has successfully restored 1 wound to it. The Lehman Russ moving less than half its movement speed, rounding the corner to get its battle cannon on it. The Penal Legionaries, having successfully dealt with these 2 over here, are now being herded back over there to put their fire into that beast. Round here, again, still wary of further attacks and not really able to get their guns onto the knight in a turn. So a little bit of repositioning by the colonel. The Psykers have started to move around here, but can't get line of sight with a normal move. This unit's filling that gap there, and the last cannons are ready to shoot over that building. But because of the little knobbly bits on top, I can't put the thing into place without looking at it silly. So straight on. Oh, and the Sentinels moved around to try and have a go, and those guys have backed off. They don't want to be consolidated into again. Heroically or ignominiously intervened into. The psychic phase, the only activity are the Weird Vein Psykers, who are going to attempt to cast Psychic Barrier on this unit in the ruins there. Casts on a 6. They've only got a +1 now because the unit's smaller. Okay, 6 + 1 is 7, so they now have +1 to their save. So they've got a 3+ save in that cover. So now on to the shooting phase, starting with the Lehman Russ, who's moved less than half, so he can fire his cannon twice, throwing a command point on Hail of Fire, so that becomes a heavy 6 rather than heavy D6. It's 12 shots with the cannon. Hitting on 5s now, however. Rotate Iron Shields. 4 hits. Wounding on 4s. Reroll 1 because of hatred. 3 wounds. Saving on 4+ invulnerable. No! None of them. So that's 3d3 damage. For 3, for 5. Leaves him on 6 wounds remaining. We have a last cannon, which hits. Doesn't wound, but rerolls the wound. Still doesn't wound. And the heavy bolters. 2 hits. Wounding on 5s. No. Right then, the Lehman Russ, the Demolisher Cannon. 3 shots. Hitting on, I assume 5s. I'll have to check, actually. Baneblade, 2 wounds. Sixes. Hitting on sixes. No hits there. The Baneblade Cannon for a scary 14 shots. Hitting on sixes. Hitting an eye-watering 5 times. Wounding on 3s. Rerolling 1 because he's the nearest. 3 wounds. Minus some for the Baneblade Cannon. -3. Invulnerable saves of 4+. 1 gets through. The Baneblade Cannon does a flat 3 damage. 2 last cannons. 1 of them hits. Wounds on a 3. No. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 heavy bolters. Oh, I'll do the thing I hate doing. Normally it's a sign that my brain's melting if I mix the colour of the dice. But in all honesty, my feet really hurt. I don't know what around the table again. That's awfully lazy of me. Hitting on 6s with the heavy bolters. 1 fails to wound. Auto cannon. 1 hit. 1 wound. Fails the save. 2 damage. It's got 1 wound remaining. Okay, the Penal Legion. Plasma Gun. 1 hits. Wounds. 4+ save. No. Does the knight explode? He does not. The suit crumples to the ground. And this is a pattern that these guardsmen have played through time and time again. They are assailed by the Chaos Knights of House Khomentis. More and more of them are killed. They're driven off as the knights begin to animate again. And the guard relocate. Because whilst these are down, it doesn't matter how many munitions they attach to them, how many demo charges, how many melter shots. The metal components just appear to be immaterially immune and slowly knit back together. Their only option is to break camp again and run. However, this time, before the Knights of House Khomentis find them again, they manage to get through to the PDF Navy on the Vox, who've managed to make a bulk lander skyworthy that picks them up and returns them to the nearest city before the Knights of House Khomentis can find them yet again. So another victory today for the Imperial Guard, in so much as they lost another 12, 2, maybe 3 dozen men. An Imperial Inquisitor grievously wounded. However, the pride of Armatura endures, and those who survived, and live to fight another day. However, as they're taking off, they see on the horizon, as they fly past, they see the bulking, hulking suits of this lance of House Khomentis mobile once more, and looking for their next target as they head inexorably towards the Forge, Mars 741. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching that. It was a touch one-sided. That first turn, Baneblade, bang, boom. That was both terrific and awful. Simultaneously both. Oh, dear me. I mean, people always say with knights you either win big or lose big, which is true. I keep meaning to... I'm not ruling out doing demon summoning. I keep wanting to do it, but I keep not finding the right moment to do it. Because this is an infernal household. They should totally be doing that. But yes, on this battlefield, the Guard win the day, and they live to see another. So, episodes 2, 3, and 4 will be will be exclusive to channel members, and will be going up over the course of the next month to 2 months. I think they're running from my schedule from memory. I think they're running just into March. Yes, so 3 more episodes. They're not there. If you were to subscribe today, they wouldn't all be there. They are being released amongst other battle reports. I sort of mix them in and stagger them out with the other campaigns that I've got on the go. Yes, they should be out relatively soon. So if you enjoyed that, consider maybe becoming a channel member. And in the meantime, I hope you're all managing to stay safe in these crazy times. I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.